Hey everybody, so continuing along with season previews, it's now time for the Boston Bruins. My team, Boston, made it a second round of the playoffs last year before losing to Tampa Bay, one of the best teams in the East last season. And I think there's a little bit more competition in the East this year, but they're still one of the best teams, certainly a playoff team in my mind, and certainly a team that could make a run. They have a very talented lineup. They have a good mix of veteran and young players. It's going to be a dogfight in the East this year, especially in that Atlantic Division with Toronto presumably getting better, Florida presumably being a playoff team, on top of already having Tampa Bay. The Bruins have some good competition this season, but I definitely think that they're up for the task, and they've got a great lineup here. So let's look at the lineup and see what the Bruins got. Top line, one of the best lines in the entire NHL, Marchand, Bergeron, and Pastrnak. Just unbelievable scoring line there. Second line, DeBrusk, Krejci, and Backes. DeBrusk is really developing into a great goal scorer. Backes, if he can stay healthy, brings a lot of thump to that line. A little bit of offense, but mostly good board play, physicality. He's the kind of guy that David Krejci generally likes to play with, so hopefully he can stay healthy this year. Third line, Danton Heinen, Chris Wagner, and Ryan Donato. And the fourth line, Joakim Nordstrom, Sean Kuraly, and Noel Acciari. On the back end, Chara and McAvoy still the top pair, with Krug and Carlo the second pair, and then Miller and Moore your third pair, with Tuukka Rask in net and Jaro Halak backing him up. Your extra forward is Anders Bjork, and I guess Boston's going to go with this whole 8 defenseman thing again, with Matt Grzelcyk and Steve Kampfer as your extra defenseman. Alright, where to begin? Let's begin in goal with Boston. Tuukka Rask, definitely the starting goaltender. They let go of Anton Khudobin as the backup and brought in Jaro Halak for, interestingly enough, more money than what they would have had to pay Khudobin. I don't like that move at all. I loved Khudobin as the backup, and I wish he still was here. Halak, I don't think, is that much better, and they ended up paying him more money. So I don't understand that move at all. I don't understand a number of the Bruins' moves this offseason, which has me a little worried going into the season. But Halak's now the backup. I assume he'll be fine in that role, but Rask is clearly the starter and the best goaltender on the team. On defense, Chara and McAvoy is still the top pair. Chara, the ageless wonder, still going strong at 40 years old. Is he 41? He's either 40 or 41 now. He's been so solid for so long. He's not a guy that's going to play 25 minutes a night anymore like he was, say 5-10 years ago. So they've definitely got to watch his minutes. But he's been grooming McAvoy, over the past year, and McAvoy is going to be the number one defenseman on this team, hopefully for a long, long time. Krug and Carlo, Carlo is a really solid young defensive defenseman. He makes his mistakes, but he just got thrust into the NHL at such a young age that's going to happen. Krug, a solid veteran at this point, their best offensive defenseman. One of my favorite players on the team is Torrey Krug. I like him a lot. And then as long as Carlo keeps developing and keeps playing well, getting better in his own end, I really don't care if the offense comes or not. He's more of a defensive defenseman, and that's fine playing with Krug, because Krug's he's the offensive guy. And then Miller, roster resource didn't have Miller in the top 6, but Boston, they like Miller way too much to have him be a healthy scratch. Especially with Adam McQuaid gone, they need that toughness on the back end. and they traded away McQuaid, so Miller's going to be that guy now. He's going to be the guy that fights and stands up for his teammates and plays really physically. He's going to play. I don't see him on the bench or in the press box very often this year. He's going to play. So Miller's back there with newcomer John Moore, who just signed a 5-year deal with the team. I'm excited to see what Moore brings to the table, because I think he's not a star guy. He's not a standout player, but he's a very solid bottom half of your defense type of guy. And I think he can bring a lot of stability to the back end and really make a difference for the Bruins. So I'm excited to see him this year. Then up front, I think your top line, we all know what that line is. They're just unbelievably good. One of the best lines in the league, if not the best. Jake DeBrusk on the second line, I think, could have a huge breakout season this year. He just continues to get better. He gets better and better every year, and I think he could, this is hard to predict, but I think he could have a 30-goal season this year and really, really break out. He's just, all the tools are there. He's not afraid to play physical. He drives the net. He's a really good skater. He's got a nice shot. I really think all the tools are there for him to be a 30-goal scorer in this league, and he could do it as early as this season. Krejci, he's been in that second-line center spot for so many years now. Hopefully he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, he's a really important part of this team. Another, Backes is another guy that hopefully stays healthy. The Bruins really need him. I didn't know whether to put Backes on that second line right wing or put him on the third line. I think Ryan Donato has a chance to take that second line spot from Backes and play with Krejci and DeBrusk. And Donato is another guy I think that could be a big-time goal scorer for this team as early as this year. Dan Heinen, another young offensive player. This team, for so many years, the Bruins were such a defensive-minded team. They didn't play a lot of young players. They focused on keeping the puck out of their own net more so than goal scoring. But now this team is just full of offense. Between, even their third line is just full of offense with Heinen and Donato. Wagner coming in as a real physical player. Someone I love a lot. One of the few offseason moves that I really, really liked from Boston. Replacing Riley Nash as that third line center, and I think Bruins fans are going to love this guy. I know that I do, seeing him play in Anaheim and with the Islanders. I really love Chris Wagner. So I'm excited to see him in a Bruins uniform this year, banging bodies and doing what he does. Then the fourth line, Achari and Corrali, have been up here for a little over a year now. We know what they bring. They're really solid fourth liners. Sometimes you want a little more from them offensively, but they always bring the effort, and that's what it's all about when you're on the Bruins, is bringing the effort. And Joakim Nordstrom, a move that made zero sense to me this offseason. The move I hated the most of what the Bruins did this offseason was bringing in Nordstrom. I don't get it. He only had, 7 points all of last year. He's useless. I don't think he's a lock to be in the everyday roster. I think there's definitely the chance that someone comes up and takes that spot from him. I'm not a big fan of his at all. But overall, I think this team is very, very good up and down the lineup. They've got plenty of offense. They've got a very solid defense core. Tuukka, as much as he is frustrating sometimes, is a very, very good goaltender. So there's not a lot of holes on this team. I think that they're in for a very big year and should certainly be a playoff team, should probably make a run this year in the playoffs. Things are going well for Boston, and they have such a great mix of veteran leadership and youth coming up. I think not only is this team very good now, this team is going to be very good for the foreseeable future. As long as they don't make any really stupid moves that screw it up, I think this team is one of the best in the East and going to be for a long time. So That's what I got on the Bruins. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.